Okay, so we're going to make our veggie stir fry. First thing we're going to do, half fill a pot of cold or hot water, either or. I'm going to place this on to boil. While it's boiling, we're going to prepare our veg. So half fill pot of water and onto the boil, so on a nice high heat. The first vegetable I'm going to prepare is the pepper, which if you had the last at-home box, we had pepper in that. So basically what we're trying to do is get rid of any of the seeds, don't want to eat them. I normally quite like to have a bowl for scraps and a bowl for where my prepared veg is going to do. So I'm going to put my scraps in here, just kind of keeps you nice neat and tidy. For our stir fry, we want nice thin slices. So we want to keep them quite big so they stay nice and crunchy. So nice long thin strips of pepper. And we are going to do the same for the onion. So nice long thin strips. Once you've cut them, I'm going to put them into my bowl where all the prepared vegetables are going to be. Next thing I'm going to do is the onion. So we're going to take the top and the bottom off. But first thing, I'm going to take the skin off the onion. And just the kind of outer layer. If it's easier to get the skin off, I sometimes cut the onion in half and then peel it like that. It seems to kind of peel away a wee bit easier. And again, my skin and my scraps are going to go straight into this bowl so it's nice, neat and tidy. Okay, so we're just doing the onion again, nice thin strips. I have topped and tailed, taking the top and the bottom off. And just, again, it's okay about the size, like it doesn't matter if it's too thick or too thin, it can be up to kind of personal preference, but as long as they're just kind of strips, the same way that our pepper is. So just nice thin strips, take your time if you need to, there's no rush. One of my main focuses for these boxes is that it's kind of quick meals, because I know myself, when I get home from work the last thing I want to do is loads of cooking. So we want it to be kind of quite quick to make, but also quite healthy and also on a budget. Personally, I could have shop at Aldi or Asda because I find that they're the cheapest. So another main focus is just to keep the cost of these dishes down, so the cost nice and healthy and nice and quick. So again, I've just put my prepared vegetables into my bowl. Now I'm going to do the carrot. For the carrot, all I'm going to do, again, top and tail into the scraps. You have two options. Well, a few options actually. Personally, I don't peel. I would just wash it. It's just kind of another step that you don't have to do. But by all means, if you want to peel it, that is absolutely fine. Peel the carrot, top and tail it, and then you can either cut thin strips, or I'm just going to use the kind of big part of the grater and grate it. So that just means it's quick, and it's all in a nice shape. So once you've prepared your carrot, either if you're going to do it in nice thin slices or grating it, I've just taken a handful of my bean sprouts, which I think is the best part of the stir fry because it adds so much texture. Although they don't taste of much, they've kind of got a bit of a nutty taste, I think, but it's more for the texture of the bean sprouts in a stir fry. And then we've got our mange too. I'm going to leave that as it is, but again, if you would like to half it or thin strips, that is absolutely fine. Either or, it's just down to personal preference. So from here, my water started to boil, so I'm going to add my rice and I'm going to set a 10-minute timer. Okay, I've added my rice to my boiling water. Every so often I'm just going to give it a bit of a stir so that it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pot. But that's just kind of every couple of minutes. While that's cooking, I'm just going to do the sauce. So in your box already weighed out, you should have soy sauce and honey. I've given you some coriander as well to chop up, and that's going to go in the sauce. If you were one of these people who cannot stand coriander, I'm not one of them, but if you are, that's completely fine. Just don't add it in. Or if there's someone in the family who does like it and some that don't add it to the sauce. It can just be added into the stir fry later on once we've got it cooking in the pot. I know that it's to do with people's enzymes on your tongue, that when you eat the coriander it can give you a bit of a soapy taste, which I think is very unfortunate because I would have it in every single dish if possible. So all we're going to do is chop that up nice and fine or kind of chunky. Add it in, then I'm going to give it a stir. And that is the sauce. So we've just got honey, soy sauce and coriander. If you have anything like sweet chilli sauce or a bit of white wine vinegar or even just normal vinegar, add a wee bit of that in, or you can add any spices, just it's completely up to you. This is just kind of the stuff to get you started. So if you have anything in the cupboard or any spare veg that's lying in your fridge needs to get used up, stir fries are a great dish because it's so versatile. You can just kind of add anything to it and it will work. So I'm now ready to start cooking. I'm going to have a pan or a pot of a wee bit of oil. You should have a wee bit of oil in your pack. So we're going to gently heat that up just for a couple of minutes, then add some veg. Well, I nearly actually forgot the best part of this dish. You always need to have garlic in it. So the garlic you can either choose to put in your sauce, or it can go into the pan or the pot with the veg. Either or is completely fine. I'm going to add mine into the sauce, so just very finely chop up. And then from here I'm just going to run my knife back through. So cutting it all up. And then I'm going to add it into my sauce and give it a mix. I've got my pan on quite a high heat here with oil in the pan. If you don't have one of these kind of big pans, you can absolutely use a big pot. It really doesn't make a difference. All we're doing is wanting to soften the veg here. So I've got my rice cooking as well in boiling water, which I'm going to give a stir. And I think we've got about 5 minutes left on the timer. Put that to the side. Once your oil has been on the hob for about 1 minute, I'm just going to add in all my veg. When you put the onion in, you want to kind of break it up a wee bit, because it might just all stick together. So we're going to break it up slightly, make sure we get all our veg in. We've got the carrot and the mange too. Again, everything in. I'm going to keep this on a high heat and use my spoon, which I'm using to stir. Use the spoon just to kind of move your veg around. All we're looking for here is the veg to soften slightly. We do want it to still retain a bit of a bite, so it's always nice in a stir fry when you get a bit of a crunch. So we're going to cook this out for maybe about 10 minutes, or just until you think all your veg is softened. So just remember to keep moving this veg around. We can either use a wooden spoon or give your pan a shake. Move all your veg around. And I'm going to continue to stir this every couple of seconds, or every couple of minutes, sorry. Every couple of minutes. And it's okay to use this same spoon. I can use it for both. Okay, my timer's just gone off for my rice. So all I'm going to do, strain it straight in to a sieve. Just going to balance it here, get my wooden spoon, make sure you get it all out of the pot. I'm just going to leave that to the side just now and concentrate on my veg. Now it's absolutely fine to use noodles instead. The reason that I have used the rice, it's a bit more cost effective. Rice is very cheap to buy. I know that if you buy even a kilo of rice, it can be something like £1.50 I think it is in Asda, and that goes such a long way because it really bulks out your stir fry as well and can even give you more than the 4 portions that I've given you. So you're absolutely fine to use rice or noodles. Okay, so now my veg is really starting to soften. I'm just kind of looking to cook out the onions and the peppers really, but again, as I say, you want to have a bit of a slight bite. From here, I'm going to turn the heat down slightly. So when I add in the sauce, of course, it's got honey in it, which has a very high sugar content, which can tend to burn. So on a very low heat, and now I'm going to add in my rice. Add that all straight in from the sieve. Again, scraping all of it out. No waste. Put that to the side. And then I'm just going to give it a mix. Again, you can shake your pan or just use your wooden spoon. Mix it all around. And then I'm going to add in my sauce. Again, I'm going to scrape it all out because I want all of the garlic, all the coriander, all the good stuff. Put that to the side. And then we're mixing it about. If at this point, if you wanted to add in, again, as I say, any sauces, if you have any sweet chilli, or I quite like spicy food, so normally I would add in a bit of chilli or maybe some jalapenos or some chilli flakes, but just anything that you have in the cupboard or the fridge can go into this. If you've got some chicken, maybe some fish, tofu, or some kind of veggie sausage, absolutely anything. This is what's so good about this dish, that you can add anything into it and it'll work. What we're going to do is mix that around, scrape it all from the sides, don't want anything to burn. At this point I've not added any salt and pepper. Soy sauce is very salty, so what I would do is try it, taste the bitches now, and then if I need to I can add in any salt and pepper. All we're looking to do is mix in that sauce with the veg and with the rice. And that's you.